A common argument I hear from proponents of religion is the canard that science is based on faith. Right out of the gate, two logical fallacies are being employed: an equivocation fallacy and a tu quoque fallacy. To define the fallacies in action, the equivocation fallacy is a tendency to use an ambiguous term, faith in this example, in more than one sense, thus making the argument misleading, and a tu quoque fallacy, or literally translating as you too fallacy. It is also known as appeal to hypocrisy. It is commonly employed as an effective red herring because it takes the heat off of someone having to defend their argument and instead shifts the focus back onto the person making the criticism. In Hebrews chapter 11, verse 1, the Bible describes faith.
Now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen.
Faith, in a religious sense, is essentially belief without evidence, or believing what is not seen. Upon a closer examination, the argument that science requires faith is a supplementary result of semantic scams perpetrated by the opponent to mislead, which is commonly known as a red herring. Theologian John Hott makes the assertion that science is a creed, and science employs itself to demonstrate that science is the most reliable method of discerning truth. Quote, "There is a deeper worldview. It's a kind of dogma that science is the only reliable way to truth. It's a deep faith statement because there is no way you can set up a series of scientific experiments to prove that science is the only reliable guide to truth. It's a creed." End quote. This argument is a clear demonstration of the sheer desperation and heights beleaguered theologians will jump to in order to erroneously align faith and reason on equal grounds as viable methods of epistemology. It is indeed correct that scientists cannot use reason or an experiment to demonstrate that science is the most reliable method for obtaining truth. However, it stems from their overwhelming experience and success using the scientific method. Scientists have confidence, not faith, in the scientific method because it can accrue explanatory power or working predictions that, in principle, provide the most accurate and reliable explanation of reality. What theologians fail to realize is that all of the discoveries of cosmology, molecular biology, and chemistry, to name a few scientific enterprises, came to their current understanding not from divinely inspired books or the substance of things hoped for, rather from the panoply of the scientific method. It is also worthy of noting that this theologian's argument was found on the internet, which means that he utilized communication infrastructures created by the breakthroughs of science and a computer or cell phone device to compose it on. This theologian will be hard-pressed if someone set out the task of him to visit a clergyman as opposed to an appointed medical professional for his medical procedures. Science has been so successful at obtaining the best explanation for phenomena and obtaining that knowledge of such a scope and scale that we depend on its discoveries for almost every endeavor of our lives. Yet this theologian is alluding to making strawman and equivocation arguments about how scientists have faith in its discoveries. It's not faith, it's confidence based on experience, and scientists will continue to employ the scientific method for understanding reality until or if a better alternative method is unveiled. Religious adherents assert that you have faith that the sun will rise tomorrow. I have confidence that the sun will rise tomorrow due to reasonable expectations based on experience in the past. A claim such as a woman giving birth without a baby daddy being accepted a priori requires religious faith. You will have to have faith in your lawyer because your lawyer has demonstrated that he or she is reliable with your legal issues. A lawyer who has lost you and several other clients' cases in the past or have gotten you locked up will drop your confidence in their expertise. Having faith in someone a priori will be analogous to visiting your lawyer instead of your doctor when you are sick. The kind of faith in our lawyer or any other important professional is tentative and based on positive or negative experience, which in turn improves our confidence in them. This is the kind of faith I have in science, faith that posits positive results based on consistent evidence or reason and will change when the information improves or is overturned by discovery of better evidence. On creationist propaganda websites, such as Answers in Genesis, statements of faith have to be sworn before the CEO. Conversely, no reverence to authorities, holy books, or creeds must be assumed on faith and science. If a central story about the Bible has been refuted, creationists automatically and thoughtlessly elude the evidence presented because of their faith. Science, however, rewards such falsification because of its built-in self-correcting machinery. Aron once expressed the difference between scientific honesty and religious dishonesty when he said, quote, "It is not enough that you believe differently, you have to show that you know better." There might be some crackpot fringe groups prone to human error, but otherwise pioneer concepts in science will either be confirmed or disproved as soon as they can be, usually before there are more than two divisions to compare. Because in science, it doesn't matter what you believe so much as why you believe it. Science is all about what the data shows, and unsupported notions should be readily rejected. End quote. Carl Sagan expressed it thusly, quote, "Science, its only sacred truth is that there are no sacred truths. All assumptions must be critically examined. Arguments from authority are worthless. Whatever is inconsistent with the facts, no matter how fond of it we are, must be discarded or revised." End quote. To close, it is mere preference to want to seek truth because knowledge supersedes our ignorance and betters the scientific paradigm. Being shrouded in ignorance would not be in our best interest because once upon a time, we believed thunder and lightning were the God's fury. We couldn't treat epilepsy if we assumed it were demonic possession, or warned about a tornado if we presumed sexual immorality were its cause. On humanity's everlasting legacy for properly understanding the universe and our rigorous standards for acquiring truth shall be a prosperous one not touted by superstition, ancient tomes, doctrinal authority, and mysticism.